Hello and welcome to V8 Veterans on a Thursday night. Unfortunately, you're stuck with me because Scott has decided to go get some chubby buns in Sydney. So it'll be me on lead tonight, Simon Mazzomo, and joining me will be Brady Baldwin. And yes, unfortunately, he does have to commentate with me tonight. And we've got Daniel once again on production yelling at me. So we are here at Mid-Ohio. We are round 9 in the championship, and the championship fight is coming down to the absolute wire. And it's not just the championship we're going to talk about, we're also talking about the key part of it, an entry into the Logitech Pro Series as well. So there's lots to play for tonight. We'll quickly show you. Here we are, Mid-Ohio, located back in America, and believe it's up north. Zooming in at the moment around Cleveland and Columbus, and we'll zoom right in on the track map and give you an idea of what it's like. This track is a personal favorite of mine. Thoroughly enjoy it, as you can see coming on screen in your moment. One of the old IndyCar circuits of days gone by, and believe it's still used today as well. 13 turns, 3.63 kilometers, opened in 1962, located in Lexington, Ohio. Brady, this is one of the unique tracks that we go to, I think, for supercars, especially that last section of the track, the way it undulates and throws the car around. So I got a feeling that drivers are going to have a little bit of a struggle tonight on this track.
Yeah, I reckon they're going to have an absolute handful, especially in that last sector through Thunder Alley and the carousel as well. It's a pretty exciting piece of road, but if you get it wrong, you can end up pretty wide and in the sand or in the fence, worst case. But plenty of it, taking opportunities. Obviously, turn 2 at the hairpin to the long back straight. You can get a little bit of draft assistance back there into turn 4. And then it's sort of pretty single file all the way from turn 4 up and through turn 9, maybe another passing opportunity, and maybe into turn 12. So I think qualifying's going to be pretty important tonight. But it's a long race ahead for these drivers. So I think a lot of them, if they do qualify a little bit poorly, will be able to make it up throughout the race.
Yeah, and then we'll try and bring up the quickly the graphics for what we are doing tonight. 200 kilometers, 56 kilometers, starting at 50 liters. So just your standard format. We're looking at your max fuel burn is around 2.8 liters a lap. Total fuel will need to be about 107, and 2 compulsory stops, as we have seen all season long. Now, this one's probably going to be even interesting when we look at that two pit stops. As you mentioned, you can pass around this track. It does leave itself to really good opportunities there. We'll quickly bring up your pit stop strategy. You can see on the screen at the moment, there's a fair variety that we're looking at the moment. You've got your option for your early stops, and you can still run the car quite late into the race. So your critical lap is around lap 17. You can pit, grab fuel, and run all the way to the end. And then you've also got the option lap 36 if you split it evenly, and lap 44 if you do run the tank all the way out as well. So giving everyone a fair bit to play with there. And obviously we've obviously seen a fair bit of strategy play out this season, Brady. But how do you think tonight's gonna work out for these guys?
Honestly, it just really depends on where you qualify. I think if you qualify further up the front, you can probably play a bit of a even strategy, nice and safe. Pit around lap 18 or so, and just make the even stints highlighted in the blue. But if you're down the field compared to normal, you might do an early stop and try and have a long last stint, or try and have a long middle stint like the late stop strategy. So I think there will be a lot of variance in the field, really depending where you qualify. If someone gets a lap in qualifying and they know they can get through the field, they might throw up a different strategy. So it'll be very interesting to see all the differences throughout the field tonight, Mez.
Absolutely. We'll bring up the standings in a second, and this is the big talking point at the moment. Top of the leaderboard, Taliancic and Ken Latta separated by a single point. So, and like I said, there is big things on play here. So Taliancic is our defending champion, leading the way at the moment. Ken Latta was so close last season, fought all the way to the end, and that is going to happen once more. Matt Vanderkran at the moment in P3. We can see a few movers at the moment. Troy Stone Street popping up to P4. Scott Gamble not doing the full calendar this year, but has done some really good results when he has shown up. He's sliding himself into P5. Jamie McKnight stays put. We can see a few big movers here. Mark Stewart coming up a fair few spots. Darren Lobb also coming up a fair few spots as well. Dan Hall as well. Just a few very consistent results has managed to net him a really good run there into P9. Chad Lewis dropping in, still staying inside the top 10, even though losing a few spots out. You can see Dan Hall, David Nash, our biggest movers, and unfortunately Blake Delaney, few results not really going his way, dropping him down as well. Also a side note as well with Matt Vanderkran is that no, it might not be in the race tonight due to those storms that ripped through Victoria, or may not make an appearance. So that's going to shift how this championship is looking as well. For those that are just behind, we've got Gamble and Troy Stone Street not far behind. Again, reminder, top 2 in the championship get the golden ticket through to... Oh, sorry. Apologies. I'll retract that one. The top driver gets a golden ticket to go through to the Logitech G Pro Invitational. So, and that's going to be the big talking point tonight is whoever finishes in front will effectively be the one with the advantage. So we are looking at potentially drop rounds will no longer apply after tonight. They will this will be the last round they can drop. So yeah, but you're obviously yourself fighting for a spot in the Pro Series as well. So to have an opportunity to win a championship and get a ticket into Pro Series, it's definitely something worth fighting for.
Yeah, unfortunately I'm 13 years off the cutoff for V8 veterans, so I unfortunately can't receive a golden ticket. But it's going to be very interesting between Kenny and Tally. I believe Tally's 22nd in points after last night, so he's still on the cusp of making it in through the top 20 as it is. Unfortunately, Kenny had 2 pretty disappointing results by his own standards in the first 2 rounds. I think has decided to skip the last 2 rounds to focus on this, and probably going to be a good decision because he is only 1 point behind Tally in the championship for V8 Vets. So it's going to be a major battle for the last 2 rounds, especially tonight. If one of them can pull a bit of a gap over the other guy, it's going to put him in good stead going into the final round next week.
Yep. Well, there's also another fight that's up for grabs as well, not just for Logitech G, but also for requalification as well. So we continually talk about this a bit, the bubble, and we've got the bubble on screen at the moment. You can see this is where it's happening at the moment. 34 points to the favour of Blake Delaney in P17. Then you've got Travis Hunt, Damien Cairns. Chris Blanchard is right on that point at the moment in P20. And then you got Brenton O'Brien, who's not far behind. Stephen Kennedy, who's not far behind. Rick Vigor, Damien Cross, and Paul Burns. And they're all within a shot of getting inside that top 20. So again, this is provisional drop points, provisional points based on drop rounds. And again, this is the last one that they can drop tonight. So they can maybe afford to not have a good race, but it also means that they're going to have to really double down and make sure they do a fantastic job in the final round. So everyone will be looking at this at the moment is they want to make sure to use this to their advantage, get a good result. And yeah, the battle will be on for who gets back in to the championship for season 19. So we'll head over to the grid and get ourselves ready. And well, look at this. The 2 championship protagonists are on the front row alongside each other. Ken Latta on pole with Mike Taliantich alongside. That'll be a fun battle into turn 1. Then we've got John Latham in P3 alongside will be Darren Lobb as well, who's been really the performer in the last half of this championship as well. So keep an eye on Darren to do some good. We'll go a row back as well. Brenton Nietzsche will be coming out of P5 with Scotty Gamble alongside as well P6. Rick Sibra will be coming out of P7, a really good qualifying result there. David Nash coming out of P8, keeping his good run of results going for this part of the season. Craig Friend coming out of P9 with Tim Nicol alongside in P10. Then we go a row back. P11, Damien Cairns with alongside Troy Stone Street. This is that battle. One's in the bubble and one's fighting for the top 10 or top 4 in the championship. So good result will be needed here. Scott McCune, a solid qualifying result out of P13 with Jay McKnight alongside in P14. We've got another row back in P15 will be Jason Fewens with Greg Sharp alongside as well. Another row back, we're looking at Chris Miller qualifying in P17 with David Kirby in P18. So David won't be too happy with that one, but we've seen this year can drive himself through the field. Travis Hart just in P19 as well, another one that's fighting on the bubble. And rounding out the top 20 will be Jeff Thomas alongside his teammate inside the top 20.
Christian Smart and Michael Stewart will share row number 11, 21st and 22nd. Back to Mario Real and Paul Burns starting 23rd and 24th. Stephen Banks and Chad Lewis will start 25th and 26th. The Pacific Esports Machine and ERT. Robert Crisdale and Robert Griffith will share the 14th row of the grid. And 29th and 30th will be Scotty Van Loon and Stuart Hall. Back then to Ricky Hyde in the 031 and Paul Warwick in the 050 Fishy Motorsport Machine. Will share row number 16, and then Dan Hall will start from 33rd alongside the Pacific Esports Machine of Damien Cross. And the important battle for the transfer spot, Mez, the top 20 qualification, will be starting 35th and 36th, Chris Branchard and Brenton O'Brien. So there'll be one to watch out for throughout this race. Michael Quain and Rick Vigor will start 37th and 38th. Then back to Damon Fisher and Darren Crosby. And then I believe we have Bruce Tannick as well. Will effectively start 41st. Apologies. So Mark Dial as well. So we've got 42 cars on the grid. Obviously, there's 41 cars on the grid, I've been told. Apologies, guys. So Bruce Tannick will be the last car on the grid for tonight's race. Mez, 41 cars, 56 laps. The two championship protagonists on the front row, and then the battle for the top 20 right down the back of the field as well. So a lot to play out in the second last round of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a bit to go. And there'll be a few movers through the field as well. And you can see on screen at the moment, we've got the Zoom feeds running at the moment. Everyone prepping themselves at the moment. We've got about 2 minutes before we get this show on the road. And it's always the nervous period here. I know we sort of not something that's often talk about in sim racing. You think because we're sitting at home or in our comfy rooms or wherever we are, where the sim's set up, you think this would be nice and relaxing, but it's actually surprising how nervous you get in these moments. Would you say that's probably the same for you as well, Brady?
Well, the last 3 weeks doing the Logitech qualifying series certainly has been that nervous every single time I go in. Racing guys, I probably shouldn't be. Yeah, it is daunting, and I actually get more nervous for a sim race than what I did when I used to race speedways, so which is pretty crazy to think about. But yeah, I don't know why I get nervous on the sim. You know, at the end of the day, it is a simulation. We do it for fun, but I think at the end of the day, we'll take it seriously enough that we want to do well and probably put too much pressure on ourselves sometimes. But yeah, Mez, we've got 1 minute to green. There's our race info. Once again, 200 kilometre, 56 lap race. Everyone's starting on 50 litres of fuel, so won't see these guys run too long in the first stint, and they can obviously refill the max capacity. They've got to take about 107 litres throughout this race, and obviously 2 CPS. Opens the end of lap 2. Their critical lap is 17, but then you have to be pretty brave to pit that early in a 56 lap race.
We've seen Brenton O'Brien do it a couple of times, so if the cards land out that way, we know Brenton is brave enough to give that one a crack. It's actually worked out for him for a few times as well, so you can see everyone's gridding up at the moment. You can see the way they're lined up. Ken Ladder's got a really good advantage into toe. He's basically got a car length, which that's going to be handy for him. We usually see them side by side, but he's going to have the advantage here. And on the inside as well. As the clock reaches 0, the revs will start to rise. as we get ready. 56 laps around Mid-Ohio. Who's going to get the jump into turn 1, and away we go. Initially, a really good jump there from Ken Latta. He's going to stay in front. He's going to move over and take onto the racing line. John Latham is having a look up the inside as well, but it's not going to be able to get there. As they bolt out of turn 1, you can see the cars running. Well, there's one running wide outside of turn 1, but everyone feeds their way through. Ken Latta, and always run a little bit wide into turn 1. Talianchi just going to have a look down the inside, but not quite enough. Ken Latta gets a run off the corner, but now he's going to have to draft. As they run down this long back straight, this is where the alternate starting line is. As they run down into the first of the big braking zones on this lap. So far, Ken Latta out front. John Latham sniffing in the background as well. You've got Darren Lobb as well. And oh, we've got safety car called already.
It's for Stuart Hall. Didn't even make it past the finish line. He's blown up on the exit of the last corner. So I couldn't see it on my end, so we might have to queue up a replay if we can, Dan, of what happened to Stuart Hall. But I think maybe a car stalled and he ran into the back of him, Mez. The one thing I'm thinking of. Remember, pits do not open yet. And I believe, if I remember the rules correctly, they've got to wait 2 laps after the safety car period. 1 lap after the safety car period, I've just been told, if it does come before the 2nd lap, before they can pit. So no one can pit on this next lap. So pits will be closed for everyone. It'll be a level playing field. Kenny Latta still out in front. But unfortunately, I knew Stuart Hall called it in early for RaceKraft. A few other guys did as well. So unfortunately, Stuart Hall did not even make the finish line in this race for car 49. Big disappointment for him, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's always the worst bit when you don't even make it to turn 1. Unfortunately, yeah, it'd be day done for him at the moment. We'll see if we can get this replay up and see what's actually happened. Just waiting on ring. Things are scrolling apparently, but that's okay. We'll find it in a second.
There is a few cars in the pits as well, Mez. I'm not sure if they've towed or they're actually getting service. Be interesting to see if anything comes from that, since I do believe that the pits are closed for the time being. So we'll see what happens here. Stuart Hall. Oh! Yeah. So there was an initial contact by a few rows up. One of the ERT cars, I believe, maybe Chad Lewis. It was a shiny blue. Yeah, it was Chad Lewis. So we'll see what happens to Lewis. He just got hit by one of the Frog League cars into the opening on the exit. It was Crisdale, so unfortunately Stuart Hall really had nowhere to go. No fault of his own. Always a risk when you are starting on a corner, but I mean, it's the start of a race. I don't have any word for that, Mez.
Yeah, it is one of those odd ones, because like you see on the screen, like the corner just closes in so much. Your natural reaction, especially if you're driving the outside, is getting to the inside as quick as you possibly can. So you can see he's tried to do that, and yeah, it's just the way that corner closes up on them. But just in regards to that, to the pit stop you kept mentioning, so they can still pit. The safety cars, the pits aren't closed. What they can't do is take their first CPS. So if they've taken pit stops now, it's not going to clear one of their compulsory 2 CPSs. They'll still have 2 more to do once they go back to green. What we have seen happen though is they come in, top the tank up, and then they can run longer into the race, or they'll use an opportunity that when it comes up to when everyone takes a pit stop, they might have a much shorter pit stop in that first one, or they can use it to minimize the time they need to take in their final pit stop. So a lot of those guys, I think, were further down the back, so it's basically just offsetting your strategy a little bit as well. They'll have the advantage that they'll stay with the pack as well, so different way to play it, but yeah, it does still mean that they will definitely still need to take their 2 compulsory pit stops later on in the race.
Okay, so thanks for confirming that for me, because wasn't sure if it was like illegal to do it. I've been out of the Vets loop for a couple of seasons, so that's okay. I mean, it's probably not a bad call if you're down the back, just top up your tank. Probably got to take a little bit less. I mean, it's worth the gamble, really, at the end of the day, if you're further down the field. For these guys, pretty much most of these guys that have pitted were further in the 30s, so Not a bad strategy. We'll see how that plays out for those guys. I'm trying to pick up who might have been the leader of the guys that pitted. Maybe Tanic? No, it was Rick Vigor. So Rick Vigor was the first of the guys that did pit under the safety car. So like Mez said, still got to take 2 CPS, but he's in 28th. So we'll see if he can move his way through. He's already up 10 spots, probably trying to avoid all the carnage on that one. So we'll try and track Rick Vigor's progress throughout this race and see if topping up the tank at the start of the race was worth the gamble. Safety car is in this lap, Mez, and Kenny Ladder is going to lead us to the green. Marco Taliangic on his tail had a few looks on the first lap before the safety car was called. Probably going to be a little bit patient, I don't think, between these two. And then obviously Latham, Lob and Gamble. That's a very ominous top 5 in this series. And Rick Sibra as well. He's been showing some really good speed this season as well. Qualified 7th, and he's right in behind the 543 of Gamble as the safety car does pull away. Michael Whiting in the RaceKraft Simulations Mercedes GT3. He's now in the pits. We're now in control of the 269 of Kenny Ladder. When will he go? I'm predicting he's going to go pretty late. Try and catch him off guard. Really wide entry into the final corner. He's going to get on the gas now, and once again, we are green flag racing. It's lap number 4, 56 out Mid-Ohio, and Kenny Ladder gets about 5 car length gap into turn 1 over Michael Taliangic.
Yeah, played that one really smartly as well. Got up wide, tried to make sure to straighten the car up as much as possible when he got on the throttle. And yeah, caught a lot of them sleeping, which is was interesting as well. So, but yeah, so far, a bit of a pinch break into turn 1 as well. So that's not going to help that inside tyre at all. We'll run out the first hairpin, but you can see there's a little bit of a gap on screen at the moment. So Ken has done a very, very good job then, but we'll wait and see what Ken can do. So this is where this is the interesting bit about this battle as well. As you mentioned, Ken Ladder has not had a few good rounds in the Pro Series qualifiers that are on at the moment. So effectively, I think Ken is out of the running to get in that way. So at the moment, his entry is pretty much based on clocking in this championship victory, getting that number 1 spot and getting that free ticket, whereas Talianchic's in a bit of a different spot. He wants to go back-to-back in the championship, but he's still within a shot of being able to get in via the qual series as well. So there's a few different strategies. We'll just see how that plays out, like where they lie. We spoke a little bit last week to both drivers. We mentioned there we've got Darren Lobb, Scott Gamble, John Latham's in this battle as well. Both of them are very, very quick and have shown really, really good pace. How are they going to factor into this race, and are they going to want to try and battle them? That's going to be the big thing. There's if you know you're not really racing it for the championship and you've got multiple things on the line, are they going to be inclined to just let them go?
Back to the Tally and Kenny thing, I think Kenny Ladder's got a lot more to race for because, like you touched on, he's out of the running to make the top 20 in the qualifying series. So this is pretty much his only way to get in. Tally's still got a chance to get through the vets, and he's also got a chance to get through the actual qualifying series. So I think Kenny's got a lot more to race for. So I think he's going to be a little more aggressive than what Tally would be. But that's just my prediction between those guys. And even the guys behind them, Lob, Latham, and also Gamble, those guys want to just win races and get good results. Obviously, Gamble's 5th in the championship. Obviously, unfortunately, with Vanderkraan missing the round, he's effectively fighting for P3 in the championship, I believe, with Troy Stonestreet. So still a lot to play for in this championship. I know Scotty, he just wants to win races and get good results on the board, currently P5. So a lot to play for all throughout the field. Obviously, that qualification for the winner, and all throughout the championship standings in the top 20. So, like I said, a lot to play out in this race, a lot to play for in the second last round of the championship.
Yeah, look on through at the moment. Scott Gamble, looking at the sector times as they were coming in, Scott Gamble put in the fastest final sector of everyone so far. Actually just put in the fastest, a personal first sector as well. So Scott Gamble's starting to find a little bit of pace as well. We sort of see that. The first couple laps mightn't be that quick, but then the pace starts to really pick up. Oh, and I'm just seeing on the screen, Scotty Van Loon's actually caught into the wall on the exit of 1. He's gone in hard. It looks like he's going to be able to keep it going.
Big damage to the front though.
Yeah, big damage. Oh, that front's not going to be happy at all. Just looked like he got wide on the exit of one, and it's so easy to do, and there's obviously the grass out there as well. Grass will grab hold and just drag you off the circuit. You're going to go for a quick replay. Just lost it on that inside curb. That inside curb, it looks like it just sort of pulled the front of the car around a little bit, and the rears just did not quite have enough grip to hold onto it.
Yeah, it looks like you just got the last part of the curb just a little bit wrong. And unfortunately, once you get on the grass, he was pretty much just a passenger, couldn't pull it up. So, a little unfortunate for 410 of Scotty Van Loon. Hopefully, he can possibly get a fast repair, make it back to the pits, and at least stay in this race, because that car's not going to be healthy. He's probably going to expire the engine very shortly. So, I'm sure he's going to come to the pits right now, get that fast repair. Hopefully, stay on the lead lap as well. And get back out racing. Is still nothing's changed in the top 5. It's still ladder, Tally, Latham, Gamble is now up to P4 actually. He's past Darren Lobb with adrenaline screen for about P6. David Nash and Rick Zibra side by side. Looks like Lobb's dropped off a fair bit from Scott Gamble. So was there a mistake the last lap from Darren Lobb, or is there a problem potentially for the 099?
Yeah, I actually just went back and scrubbed through the replay real quick. He did make a mistake in that last turn 12, turn 13 complex, and that's where he lost the spot and got sort of caught up with Rick Zebra and David Nash that we're looking on screen at the moment. That's battling it out for that P6 spot. So uncharacteristic little mistake there from Darren. We're used to seeing sort of picking his way through the field. So, well, they've managed to keep on with it, and he's skipped away a little bit from this back, so he'll focus on getting down the road, try and chase after Scott Gamble. Big lock up from David Nash into turn 12. I reckon he's almost started sending Morse code on the rear bumper of Rick Zebra. Hopefully Rick was not looking in his mirrors, because that would have clenched a little bit, seeing that coming in the rear view. But they've managed to get out of it, but that's going to create an opportunity now for Tim Nicol. He's just sitting on the rear bumper at the moment. So he's having a little bit of a look, but not quite close enough to do anything. David Nash is one of those drivers that's really switched on the last half of this season. We've just been noticing how he's had plenty of really good results and showing he's really got a lot of pace at the moment. It's just, yeah, so he's just trying to cap off the season, try and get another good result. Obviously, again, fighting in this top 6 spot. He's got a little bit of pace at the moment. He seems to have closed up a little bit again on Rick Zebra. We'll wait and see. Still plenty to go in this race, but so far showing some really good pace.
Just got information through drive-through penalty for the 727. Chad Lewis failing to leave racing room on lap 1. Surely that's probably the incident off the start line potentially. Might have been. I can only assume that was a start line incident, which... No, I thought that the frog leg car, Crisdale, got into Lewis that caused him to turn, but that's Race Control's had a lot more looks at it than what we have had, so we will go along with the decision. Unfortunately, Chad Lewis has already been in the wars tonight. He's already down 39th. He's going to have to now serve a drive-through penalty for his troubles as he does that right now. But Scotty Gamble, probably a little bit of a slow start first couple of laps. He's really picked up the pace the last couple of laps in the 21. So last lap he was 4/10 quicker than John Latham, and he was actually the fastest car on the last lap, Scott Gamble. So he's really picked up the pace and starting to eye in the 24 of John Latham. P3, an important thing I was just thinking about, for the battle for P1, Taliancic will be able to save a little bit of fuel in behind Kenny Ladder on the back straight with that draft, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, and maybe a potential short fill for Ladder in the first stop to try and keep that track position, since Tally will be saving a little bit. I'm not too sure, but it'll be something definitely to keep an eye on later on in this race, Mess.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that gap's actually starting to open up a little bit as well. That last lap, Ken Ladder was about 4/10 quicker, so yeah, interested to see how this is going to swing backwards and forwards. But yeah, John Latham's starting to fall off a little bit from the the top 2 at the moment. Gamble, obviously, yeah, as you mentioned, start to close in. That's Scotty Van Loon into the pits as well. And looks as though he's out of the... No, he's still in the car. But has decided not to take the fast repair though. Which is interesting. But wait and see. Hopefully Scotty can get back on track as well. So it's just a unfortunate little mistake that happened there. He's spent over a minute in the pit box now, or pit lane, sorry. Now about a minute in the pit box. So yeah, hopefully we're going to see Van Loon back out there. But on board with Brett Nitschke, heading down into turn 4, this hard braking zone. Just going, and now we're looking at back of Tick Nichols. So this little battle has not died off a little bit. It's actually started to bring Craig Friend and Brett Nitschke into it as well. So you can see Rick Simbra's finally managed to sort of break a little bit away. He's got a bit of a daylight between him and David Nash, and Tim Nichols has not really left the rear bumper of Nash at all. And you can see that train of cars that just comes out of that corner. So one thing it just blows me away. Every time we watch these, we come and commentate on these events, you just see the stream of cars that just follow behind. Everyone is just so close in pace throughout this whole field. And that's why it's such good racing, because yeah, everyone seems to be roughly around the same level as each other.
Yeah, it's the one great thing about V8 Veterans is everyone is so close, and also being fixed up. Everyone's on the same sub, so there's no disadvantage or advantage to anyone in particular. So it's always good, hard, close racing all throughout the field, no matter from P1 and P2 all the way to the late 30s and early 40s. So there's always something to watch, always something to keep an eye on throughout this field. And once again, here at Mid-Ohio, it's turn it on, and Tim Nichols there in P8. Fantastic drive for him so far, and he's on off David Nash's rear bumper. So trying to keep it the battle there for P7. Looks like Simpra has just pulled away just a little bit on David Nash in the last lap or two. He's going to try and close in Darren Lobb up ahead for P5, and does have a little bit of a pace advantage at the moment, does Rick Simpra. Another points penalty for Rick Vigor. Decided to leave racing room on lap 1 as well. So no penalty in the race, just a points penalty in the aftermath as we start lap number 12. This time by Kenny Ladder, still out in front by just over 6/10 of a second over Taliancic. So Tali hasn't let him get away just yet. I think, like I said before, Tali will be saving a little bit of fueling behind, played the long game in this race, and might be bringing in Latham and Gamble just a little bit into this pack. So I'm predicting probably another 5 laps. We might have a 4-way battle for the race lead here, as there's a big lock-up on screen for John Latham, just cursed him.
Yeah, just saw that one, and also just noticed too, Scott McCune rolled into pit lane, and there was smoke billowing out of the back of that car. It's on screen at the moment that him and Joe McKnight are in the pit lane, so Scott McCune's in, he's rolling out of the pit, so there must have been an engine issue, because it was, like I said, it was billowing smoke coming into pit lane. But he's taken that fast repair. Thankfully, he managed to get himself back going again. But that's not going to be, maybe we can see, but what's actually happened there. But so well in the race, we don't really want to see people using their fast repairs that early. Have a quick look on replay. And, and just before coming up here, you'll start seeing smoke, and downshift.
On a downshift, I assume. So we've seen one last night in the Logitech series as well. I believe it was Richard Hampstead, I believe, last night, or one of the TTR drivers, and just Maloney. It was Maloney, yeah. So one of the just on a downshift, which is it's not uncommon, but you don't see it all the time. It's probably not a bad place to do it, because you just rolled the pits and kept going. So McCune's still back out on track, took that fast repair. And yeah, he's back out on track, and he's actually way out in front of Jamie McKnight, who he pitted in with. So maybe McKnight took a lot of fuel on the first stop, potentially, unless McKean just did the fast repair. I'm not sure. Maybe try and get confirmation if he did a pit stop or he just took the fast repair. I'm not 100% sure. We'll try and check that, because
it's about a 17-second stop, so as you can see on
I'd assume he would have taken fuel then if it's 17 seconds, I'm sure. So
well, it's about... Is it about 8 seconds?
8 to 9 seconds for tyres, so I assume he definitely would have taken fuel with 17 seconds. And McKnight's McKnight's just popped up.
Yeah. So he's definitely taking fuel. It's just Jamie's just sort of said, I'll take a bit more. And this is sort of working to McHugh's advantage now. You can see on screen with Dan Hall. Oh, sorry, no, that's Chad Lewis there. He's got that move done there. So a lighter tank makes it a bit easier to get past people. Obviously, we've got those big long straights at the moment, so draft is quite helpful. And but yeah, see how that one tracks out for him. So might have to be a little bit more gentle on the downshifts. But back up front, looking at Ken Ludder, Taliancic back at it again. They've both sort of broken away from John Latham and Scott Gamble. It's about a second and a half there now, gap between them. And it just seems to be going with each other at the moment. And as you say, like, maybe this is Taliancic's taking an opportunity to save a bit of fuel as well, because you've got to think there are two very long straights. Through this section, there's probably not as much of an opportunity to save fuel as you can sort of see with the onboard at the moment. There's the cars have to, there's lots of undulation. They're going from one corner to the next corner, one corner to the next corner. So there's probably not a whole opportunities to save a bit of fuel, but where you do get those opportunities, those two big long straights, obviously the run into turn one, then you've also got, Gamble's off. He's got a big lock up.
Uncharacteristic there for Gamble in the 543, just a big lock up. He's blowing a motor too. He's blowing a motor. He's actually blown a motor on the downshift into that corner, exactly the same as Scott McHugh. Try and queue up a replay if we can. But I just went and checked. He blew the motor exactly the same spot as Scott McHugh. He's got no power because he had to cut through the grass, trying to avoid the oncoming traffic. He's barely going to make it to his pit box. He might be done. If he doesn't make it to the pit box, which I assume is a long way further up, he's going to be out of this race. Got to gamble.
And it's uphill too, so maybe there's a bit of dispensation for mechanics pushing you to your pit box. Maybe, I don't know. But we'll get a replay and have a look. But this is wild. But I don't think we've seen in 3 laps 2 drivers uncharacteristically blow a motor. And that's it, 100%.
Look, the rear wheels and full blown motor looked like it was way worse than McHugh's. He's probably done the right thing to get off the racing line, but here comes Rick Sibra. Unfortunately, I know Gambles can't really do a lot there, but that's definitely going to be a penalty his way, which he's going to request code, but he's already in the pits, so very safe to assume we won't see a safety car because he is now towed. He was honestly probably 50 metres from his pit box as well, which is pretty disheartening. Tully's in the pits. This is big. Tully in the pits for started off lap 16. A little bit earlier, maybe an undercut. We'll see what his stop time is to see what he can do. Will he take a little bit less to try and get the track position on Ken? When will Ken respond? There's so much up in the air for this race so far.
And
we might have had ignored David Kirby at the top of the screen. We believe he has towed without permission. No, he's actually coming out of the pits. That's right. Hey, we've had a timing issue, Mez. We haven't had one of those for a while, but it's all good.
May have had a Dan issue, maybe. But look, we'll blame Dan. Actually, no, sorry, hang on. What was the rule? Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say, the rule we came last time, if anything goes wrong, we blame Scott. So, 100%. That's what we're going to do this time. Scott broke the time. But yeah, you can see he definitely makes it into the pits. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But,
Tommy things thanks to Scott Rankin. So, Scott, if you're watching, thanks for that. Appreciate it. Now Tally has made that pit stop, like we touched on. Didn't get to see. Can we pull up his pit stop time if we can, Dan? Because I did miss it throughout all the dramas we had with the timing. He's currently, I'm trying to tally, he's 24th, 28.6. So keep that in mind, Mez. 28.6. So he's taking a fair bit of fuel, close to what McKnight took with his longer pit stop. So I think Tully's taking the pain early, 28.6 second stop. So obviously, now that Kenny has that information, he'll know what he has to do for his first stop as well. But you don't underdo it too much, because then you might be hurt on later in the race if you're going to take a longer stop. So it'll be very interesting how this all plays out. Tully down in 23rd at the moment. So he's got a little bit of clear air. Next car in front is Darren Crosby. Apologies, about 3 seconds up the road, as Tully just locked a brake into turn number 2 as well. So got a little bit of clear air. He might get to Crosby before he hits as well. So we'll see what plays out. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on 269 for when he comes to lane. It's not going to be this time by. So still going to be Kenny Ladder, John Latham, and Darren Log top 3. And looks like Rick Sippers has just had a call into race control. I think he might have pitted that last lap. Rick Sippers, but he is down the order.
Yeah, so he pitted with Gamble, I believe. So we're going to replay what's going on. My camera did flick to it real quick, and I could see he was off the road on the exit of that first step, and he's letting a lot of cars going at the moment. What's going on there?
It's contact with Travis Hunt on the exit of turn 2, Mez. So Hunt down the inside. We'll see what happens on the exit. Hunt puts it a little bit wide. Might have another look at him.
Can's got to the back as well. That'll be interesting for race control. We'll have another quick look at this one, because yeah, you can see Travis definitely tracks out.
I think Debra comes down a little bit as well, Mez. I think
Oh yeah. So that's what you're 100% right. So Simbra's obviously trying to squeeze him down, which is entitled to try and squeeze him a little bit, but as they come off the corner,
I think that's going to be a racing deal.
I'd be inclined to agree with you. I think that's very 50-50. Travis does track out, but then Simbra's also trying to squeeze him a little bit off the corner exit. So we'll wait and see what race control says. They may completely disagree with us, which I wouldn't blame them either.
Kenny's in the pits. Kenny Ladder is in the pits. Race leader has come in, and looks like Lob's pushed on, so he'll take the race lead. Kenny Ladder in the pits, Johnny Latham as well. Nash is pushed on as well. So it'll be interesting to see. Remember, 28.6 was the pit stop time for Michael Taliancic. Will John Latham maybe do a big undercut on the field and maybe jump Kenny? We'll have to see. They're up to about 12 seconds at the moment. We'll try and keep an eye on where Michael Taliancic is. He's coming up to the last corner right now, in behind Darren Crosby, which might hurt him on the exit here. Kenny Ladder, he's taking a long time. He's going to come out about 26 seconds. Going to be very close, but he's going to get out in front just. Maybe Tully's lost a couple tenths maybe in behind Crosby there. So Kenny will be safe for now. Probably, 2 seconds less on fuel than Michael Taliancic? It was about 26 compared to 28. So I think it's pretty even Stevens right now. There's probably about a 2 second gap, or actually 1.5 second gap, really. So I think it's going to be pretty even by the end of the race once they take their fuel. Obviously, Tully did save a little bit in that first stint, so he might have to take a little bit less than Kenny in that last stint. He can't get past Crosby there into turn number 4. He's going to really have to try and get past Crosby, who is on 19 lap old tyres. It's going to really hurt him if he can't get past Summers.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where if you're the driver behind, you're pulling your hair out thinking, just let me go, just let me go. But then at the same time, Crosby's well within his right to fight that one. It is for position. Tally will get it done, but that's going to open up that gap up big time. That's pushed it out to over 2 seconds now, and so that little squabble has hurt him. The other thing too to remember, Tally came out with brand new tyres, so he had a couple of laps to try and shut that gap down. There is 2 seconds difference in that pit stop time, but now it's going to go the other way. And Ken Ladder's now going to have the new tyres, plus that little issue that happened there. So this is lining up a little bit for Ken Ladder, but Ken Ladder's going to get his head down and get down the road, because he does have to give back at least 2 seconds in the next stop, depending how things play out. So there'll be another lock break there from Taliancic to turn 1. So yeah, and we're just seeing on screen a drive-through penalty for Travis Hunt as well. So we thought that might have been a racing incident, but no, race control has taken a different perspective.
They would probably have a lot more angles than What we do, I've done plenty of race control in my time with dirt racing, completely different discipline. But you got to agree with race control what they put out. We're just here to tell the story, Mez, at the end of the day. So whatever race control decide there, obviously Travis Hunt did push off the corner just a little bit. Obviously that's what they deemed the primary cause. David Nash out of P2, the Brendan Nishka's pushed on. So he's now currently the race leader, still yet to pit. I believe Craig Friend's pitted as well. Robert Crisdale's in the pits. Bruce Tannick is still out there, I believe. So there's not many cars left to pit. Obviously Kenny Ladder there in P7 at the moment. I'm sure he's going to jump a few more positions as he passes the start-finish line. Here's the effective race leader, currently in P5 by the looks, coming on the back of Damon Fisher, who did start down 39th, and he's not pitted. So it's the first 4 cars have not pitted. Nishka, Hall, Warwick, and Fisher. Still yet to pit, and Fisher's looks like he's going to get out of the way for Kenny, which is really smart driving from him. And Tally's really got to get the head down because that gap's opened up even more. So looks like actually Rob has closed right in on the back of Tally Antridge in the last lap or so. So, mate, potential problem for Tally, or is it just dropping off a little bit? And Crisdale, is there a problem? It is. Safety car has been called number 2 of the night. Blames Scott Rankin once again.
And the timing of this one actually is quite interesting though, because has he come out of the pits?
Yeah.
It looks like he's come out of the pits and just stopped. Did he not take fuel? Did something happen and it just did not take fuel?
Well, critical lap 17, so who will pit? Ladder's in the pits. Ladder's in the pits. Watch Tally's in the pits. Lob, so all the contenders are in the pits. Latham as well. I'm just going to try and see if anyone does decide to push on Mez. It doesn't look like so far no one is. It'd be...
Oh, I was seeing a lot of smoke there as well.
There's a lot. Was there a major lock? No, it was Tally. Tally spun on the pit entry. He got in the back of Damon Fisher and spun. Can we get a replay, please, Dan? Because that is championship altering implications.
Hang on, no, Darren Lock got into him.
Oh, he did too. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, has Tally lost much ground?
Well, roll back a little bit. If you can see, oh, there's the spin happen.
There's the aftermath.
If we can get on board with Darren Lock, you'll actually see there's a bit of a check-up. And then, yep, sort of later here, there's a little bit of a checker from the car in front. And, oh, just the tiniest that you can see. He's realised what's happened. He's just pulled up straight away. Latham's gained a spot out of that one as well.
Well, out of the pits, Latham's actually behind Tally. So effectively, Tally hasn't lost a position, but there's still Fisher, Griffiths, Hyde, Paul Burns in between them. I think the order's pretty jumbled up at the moment with how that safety car played out. I think there's still a few guys that will pit. Some guys I don't think have even taken their first stop yet, Mez. So I think still effectively, it's still Ladder, Tally Antridge, Latham, effective top 3. I believe Darren Lobb for Nash P5, I believe is the effective top 5. But with so many cars that haven't pitted or have only taken one stop, it's all a bit jumbled up at the moment. This is Crisdale coming down the pit lane. He did just...
Yeah, hang on.
So we'll stay on board with Crisdale here in the 808. So he has retired. Surely he wasn't out of fuel. With 50...
Yeah, I have got a feeling his pit box would have been right at the beginning of the entry. And because you don't really have any way... Yeah, the unfortunate thing is you don't really have a way for you to see where your pit box is before you actually get in the sim sometimes. So I'd almost imagine his pit box was right at the end and has missed it. Yeah, and then obviously have no fuel.
Obviously, he was that tight on fuel. He ran out at the end of the pit lane, which is... I don't think I've seen that before. I think that is a first for me. I don't think I've seen that before. There's important information.
Before, don't worry about it.
The top two, no, sorry, Dan Hall's taken 2 stops. but I do believe he did take a pit stop with that first safety car, which confirmed
he did,
that he has only taken one. I believe Chris Blanchard, Warwick are the same, I would think, because they would not have jumped Ken Ladder. Unless I've gone to an alternate universe, I don't think that has happened. So I believe still the effective top 3 or top 5 would be how I said it before, which was Ladder, Taliancic, Latham, Lobb, Nash, but there's just a lot of cars around him. And if these cars stay out, it's going to be probably great for Ken because he is in P6, Tally's in 11th. So this could be very, very interesting. Some of these guys, well, they have taken one stop, so everyone has taken one stop, but some of them might have been right at the race start. So they're going to be on pretty old tyres. So Ken's just pitted again, brand new tyres. Everyone in front of him is going to be on old tyres. So, look, I've called vets for a couple of seasons before you stepped in for me, Mez, when I went overseas. I don't think I've never seen anything that will be this crazy on a restart before. If the field jumbled up as it is, it's going to be madness, absolute madness.
Yeah. So safety car will be in this lap. Just having a real quick look just through my JRT. So there is about a 3-lap tyre difference between Blanchard and Sharp. So they're going to sort of struggle a little bit on the start. So it's really sort of those that Ken would sort of have to keep an eye out for on this restart as well. So, but we'll wait and see how this is going to all play out. We're into the final corner, and it looks like he's already gone. Brett Nitschke has put the foot down. He'll lead him out of the final corner onto the front straight, and we'll start lap 24 of this race. And away he goes out of turn 1. So this is his chance to lead a couple of laps in this race. Paul Burns has dropped a little bit as well, and we've got another couple. Paul Burns into the pits as well. So Paul Burns, that must be getting his second stop over and done with. Interesting time to plan that stop, but we'll get it done. And then Ken Ladder has managed to get past Paul Warwick as well. So now he'll run down the road. You can see Taliancic also managed to get up another spot as well. So this is where the battle's going to be. Taliancic really needs to get down the road, needs to get after Ken Ladder at the moment. They are the two that are looking as though they're effectively 1 and 2 anyway. But you got to think the championship implications of this one as well. They're so close on points that whoever wins or whoever comes out in front will effectively be the championship leader heading into the final round as well. So looking at the live point score at the moment, and actually it's actually quite massive, the change of points. Now this is just based on live position, so things will obviously change, but for example, if they did finish the way they are, it's a big swing in points towards Ken Ladder. So Taliancic needs to get the foot down. Put a question mark on those points for now, I'm being told. But again, this is all provisional. We'll get a much better picture towards the end of this race.
Yeah, 100%. And Tally just needs to get down the road. He's got who is that in front of him? It is Robert Griffiths in the Fisher Machine. So I don't think he's going to do him too many favours as he's there's smoke in the background. Is no one gone off? No, there's just a big brake lock up. I apologise. So Tally in behind. He's going to pass 2 fishy cars to try and catch the fishy car of Kenny Ladder. So I don't think they're going to do Tally too many favours. As he bombs down the inside, turn 4, Tally will get the move done on Griffiths. He called my bluff. Robert Griffiths said he was going to hold him up, and Tally got the move done. But the important thing is, he's got to do 32 laps on a set of tyres at the end of the race. So importantly, Tally's got to try and get down the road and get to as close to Kenny as he can. But he can't use up those tyres, because if he does get to Kenny, he won't be able to use them anymore, and he's going to be at a disadvantage at the end of the race. So it's going to be a bit of a cat and mouse game on how hard he pushes at the start of this stint, so he can have a little bit of tyre at the end to try and battle Kenny if he does get to him.
Yeah, just noticing that Ken's not really pushing the car at all. So I think he's read your mind in that instance. He's thought, well, look, we've got to get these tyres all the way to the end of this race. Yes, he can charge down the road and get himself to the lead, but he obviously knows that they've got to pit anyway, regardless. So does not need to burn the tyres up at this point. And then obviously Taliancic is kind of in the opposite situation. He needs to get after after Ken Ladder. He needs to try and close that gap down. So Taliancic really doesn't have much options here at the moment if he wants to have a battle for this race. He has to get after him. So going down the inside, looks like he's going to get another spot here. Looks like Ricky Hyde was not going to battle him too much. He's going to stay out of that one. And it's another spot down, but now he's going to get after Paul Warwick, and then he's going to have Ken Ladder in front of him. So still a fair bit of work to go. And again, we're only on lap 26. We've still got a fair bit to play out in this one. Back up front, we're looking at Dan Hall at the moment. Another one of the drivers that still needs to pit. And Brenton Nitschke, he is just checked out massively in this one. He's bolted down the road. You can see we're on board now with Dan Hall looking over the shoulder. Just nice, gentle run out of the corner. You can see there's not a lot of wheel work here at the moment. I did a few laps earlier as we were waiting for the broadcast to come on, and the first thing I noticed is that there's very, very little wheel work you want to put in around here, because as soon as you do, the rear of the car just becomes very, very unsettled. So you we'll stay on board with him for this lap, but you'll definitely see that there won't be a lot of wheel work coming from this car at the moment.
No, he's driving very straight and obviously keeping the rear tyres under him, which is pretty important, especially off the slow speed corners like turn 2. And pretty much the whole second part of the lap is all slower speed corners, so you definitely don't want to use up your rear tyre in the first half of the lap. Try and keep it under you through this section, because you obviously don't want to spin up the tyres throughout this section, because you're going to be pretty screwed throughout the rest of the lap, sliding around like a drift car, as I usually do in a supercar, because I don't know what throttle control is. So obviously Dan Hall's doing a very nice job of it at the moment, sitting 1.8 seconds back from Nitschke. Obviously he's still got to do one more stop in this race, as Ken Ladder had a look at Chris Blanchard as well down the back straight that last time by. We have something, Mez.
That's a big bomb by Ken Ladder there as they went through the left-hand kick. I just had a quick look at my screen. It was a little bit opportunistic, I'd be honest, but they have managed to get through fine.
Look where Tally is too. Look how much Tally is closing in on the last lap. The last lap for Kenny Ladder, 23.4 with all that battling, 22.5 for Michael Taliancic. So he's closing a big round on board with Blanchard. He's got all the pressure. Looks like he's going to sail around the outside, let Kenny go. This might invite Warwick and Tally into the battle, as well as more smoke at turn 2. We've seen endless amount of lockups at that corner tonight. Will Warwick try and put down the inside of Blanchard, or will Tally have a go at Paul Warwick? Might be a 2 for 1 for Tally. If he's bold enough, he's down the inside, nearly 3 wide into turn 4. Tally's going to get pulled up. Unfortunately, he's going to be on the outside here for turn number 5. Will he hold the inside into 6? Will he put it down the inside? Oh, there's contact with Warwick. He backs out of it at the last second through 7 and 8. We'll stay behind him for now. And now down the inside, more contact as well for Tally at turn number 9. I think he's getting a little bit impatient in behind Warwick, trying to get that pass cleared, and that's allowing Kenny Ladder to skip away just a little bit.
Yeah, he's not going to be too happy with that one. I wouldn't think. He'd be looking at the logos on the side of that car. You can obviously see from Paul Warwick's perspective, he had the run at Chris Blanchard, and sometimes you get yourself in that situation. Yes, you know the car behind you is quicker, but you just go in that spot where you're just like, look, just back off for a lap, let me get this move done, and then we can both take off and worry about it later. So I think that's what that situation was. And obviously Taliancic, his eyes are forward. Oh, another big lockup as well. So Taliancic is struggling. I think he may have hurt those front tyres a fair bit, and they're just not responding at the moment. So this could be big. Could be big issues come later in the race, especially if we go to the end without another pit stop.
Yeah, 100%. That's definitely allowed Kenny to skip away just a little bit. On board with David Kirby, another streamer out of the bunch. I know he's recently upgraded his rig, a brand new rig as well, a new PC and new streaming setup for David. So I know he'll be streaming on Facebook. So currently P17 up 1 spot in the field. So fantastic job from Kirby. I know he missed around a couple of weeks ago due to the cyclone that was up in North Queensland a couple of weeks ago. So glad to see Dave's back out there, skidding around in the V8 Supercars. So currently P17 in behind Jamie McKnight, his fellow teammate, Fishing Motorsport. Unfortunately, Trading Paints is not working for me at all because it has completely wrong paints all throughout the field. So I might just stick to the production feed and correct paint so I know who I'm looking at best.
I'll have to give you a link to IR Sidekick real quick. Not sponsored at actually genuinely not, but no. I would highly recommend IR Sidekick. That's just a little plug there. But anyway, we'll move on. But yeah, there's a little battle pack at the moment that I was just watching with Kirby. But out front, Brett Nitschke has just bolted completely from this field. He's doing a fantastic job. He's got nearly a 4-second lead at the moment. So this is setting him up with a very, very decent run. Yes, there's a lot of cars that have already taken their second stop, and there's obviously in the long term it's gonna he's probably gonna lose a fair bit of spots. But if we get the last one as well, current lap on at the moment. We'll see. Well, yeah, we'll interesting to see what the times are against Ken. But the big factor here is that if we do, for whatever reason, get a second safety car, as you can see on screen at the moment, so 22.5, 22.4. So at the moment, Nitschke's running faster than Ken Ladder at the moment. So this is a solid effort. But yeah, if we do end up getting a second safety car, majority, pretty much all the field will in fact pit, and this is going to work out perfect for him because he'll actually maintain that track position when everyone pits as well. So this could be a very, very smart move for Brett Nitschke. Just get the head down, get down the road, and yeah, if fate does fall into his lap and we do get another safety car, he's in a really good position to benefit from it.
Yeah, 100%. It could be a master stroke as I'm just watching Kenny Ladder down the inside of Blanchard into 4. We'll get the move done. And more importantly for him, Paul Warwick just pitted, so now there are no cars between Ladder and Blanchard. So it's going to be a straight fight from now. Obviously Ladder now in position number 4, still 3 in front, still have to make another stop. So, but the most important thing, it is now 2 seconds the gap between Ladder and Tally. So Tally's going to get the head down now with about 25 laps to go this time by. Try and narrow that gap, try and keep enough tyre under him as well to make a strong push in the last half of the race. Still a long way to go. We've only just crossed over halfway in this race, so still plenty of laps to play out, a lot to play out in this race, Bez, and I'm really looking forward to it. If Tally can get on the back of him, we're going to have a big showdown at the end of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a feeling that he'll be just trying to keep that gap, just manage that gap. We're on board with Jeff Thomas at the moment, currently running in P21. Oh, there's a bit of a little bit of a bounce there with the connection. So just flashing, you can see there flashing in and out as well. So unfortunately, having a little bit of network issues. Hopefully they sort themselves out. But we'll flick back and have a look at this one. So we'll currently look at, I believe it's Travis Hunt as well, as we after we had to service a drive-through penalty. Go on board with him as well. We're used to seeing the onboards from Travis Hunt. Again, also streams as well on YouTube, so you'll be able to catch those VODs that he puts up as well. Can't help but sometimes go and have a little bit of a watch myself, so it's always entertaining you getting Travis's genuine thoughts in the driver's seat, which is always good. We like to hear people's genuine opinions, and but yeah, down the back of the pack a little bit at the moment, which is not where we'd want to be, and probably another one that'd be hoping for a safety car to eventuate, and potentially getting back into this one, hopefully get a few spots back.
Yeah, he posts a little bit on TikTok as well. I see it pop up every now and again as well. So pretty good on social media, promoting this series and what he does. So which is really cool for him. Unfortunately for him, not the night that he's wanted so far, down in P31. But like you said, the safety car could bunch everything back up and really spice up this race. So still a lot to play out for him down the back of the order. And just getting another call through race control. Kenny Ladder runs a little bit wide there. He's trying to get past Greg Sharp there for P03. Runs wide. We've lost a few tenths there to our inches. But this is a nice little battle for me here between Latham. Blanchard is still yet to pit. Darren Lobb, who's effective P4. Ricky Hyde still yet to pit. I believe Michael Stewart as well. So I know Darren Lobb will be pretty keen to try and get past Blanchard. To try and chase down John Latham. That's going to be the last spot on the podium effectively for this race. So I'm sure Lobb in the 099 will be keen to try and get past Blanchard. I hope Blanchard pits. If he pits now, I am psychic and I am not Nez. So we'll take that off the resume.
That's good. I don't think any of us are psychics. We don't. Otherwise, we predict the weather. So that would definitely be something to do with that. But yeah, we're flipping back to the field. Jason Fewens, another one we used to see on stream as well, and the very serious look. He's got his eyes focused at the moment up front, currently in P17. Having a little bit of a think about it as he heads up towards turn 2, hard on the brakes. Such a tricky corner. It's uphill when you get there, and then as you try and traverse it, it starts becoming off cambered and then goes downhill. So trying to get the power down, and he's actually a bit of a defensive here. Up on the outside, looks like Tim Nicol. He's got a really good run down into turn 4. They're still alongside each other. Is he going to keep the nose there? Doesn't look like it. Looks like he will hold that spot, but then I think that's going to be Kansas sticking his nose in too. So, and another driver there as well. I can't quite pick up who that is, but it's all going on in these little spots. That section of track just seems that everyone can just run side by side and do that little switchback maneuver that you sort of see. So that back section there, delivering some really close racing tonight, which is good to see.
Yeah, some fantastic racing as well. It's good to see an onboard there of Fewens, fellow SimSpeed commentator, and he locks a break there into 12. Luckily to get it pulled up. It looks like Darren Crosby's had a really poor run off the last point. He's going to be under threat there from Craig Friend. That is for 15th on the road, I believe. Crosby will hang on to it for now. But yeah, this is a massive battle pack. It starts at Jamie Unite P13, and I believe it goes all the way back to about, Mart. Down 24th, down the inside, Fewens that's on Friend. Down the inside. Now he's going to try and... Oh, this guy's Fewens. Big conflict there between Friend and Fewens. Fewens says sorry on the text chat, so maybe he just came up a little bit on the exit, but he was slotting behind Friend, who's going to have a look at Crosby down into 4. This is some fantastic racing for about 12 spots. Look at the train, Mez. Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. And this is what we love to see, this sort of battling at the moment. And yeah, it's a decent train going on, and the positions are changing fairly consistently as well. You can see they're running into this back section. It's a really hard section to get right. You've got to really give the car time to settle before you really try and get on the throttle. Now we run out towards turn 10, 11, 12. We've seen a few locked tyres in here, a few guys running wide, and the 696 closing right up on the rear bumper there. Friend wants that spot. He's had a really good run through there as they head towards turn 1 now. Hard on the brakes. And we'll head further up front now because it's on now between Ken Ladder and Dan Hall, currently in second. Dan Hall up 31 spots, so a massive effort. He's still off cycle, so he still has one more stop. Ken Ladder looking to the inside, but Ken not quite able to get there. Dan Hall another one that's just fighting for position, so he doesn't have to give the spot away, even though he does have his pit stop that he has to hand back. Does not have to give space, and one of those is probably actually sitting there hoping for a safety car, because again, same situation as our leader Brett Nitschke. You know, if a safety car does appear, they're in prime position to benefit from it. And so far doing a good job holding Ken, and obviously Ken's focus is going to be towards the end of this race and make sure he can hold on those tyres. So, and big lock up there from Ken.
Jinx.
That's not going to help those front tyres at all. And you can see just in the background too, Taliancic is not far behind as well, so he's doing a good job just managing. And oh, he's a little bit wide. And look at the 666 at the moment. Oh, that's big damage on the front of that car at the moment.
We just had a call to race control, Mez, so assume something's happened. iRacing's not playing ball with me whatsoever, so we'll have to wait for the replay to come up, see what happened as we continue to watch on Ken Lauder, see if he can get the move done on Dan Hall. This time by turn number 4, he pokes his nose down the inside. I don't think Dan Hall's going to battle him too hard, but
famous last word.
Side by side, Dan Hall does not want to give up the spot. Can confirm. Ladder will have the inside run though into turn 6. Will he have enough overlap? He does. Dan Hall will let him go there. So now there's 2 cars between Ladder and Taliancic. So will Ken Ladder be pushing the tyre a little bit harder, making these moves? Tally's been sitting back the last few laps, maybe conserving the tyre. So it'll be interesting to see once everyone hits, and it is down to Tally and Kenny with no cars in between, who has the better tyre life. With 19 laps to go this time by, we will be queuing up a replay for what happened to the 666 of Chris Miller in just a moment. And on cue, the RaceKraft replay. 666 in behind Crosby and McCune there. So, yeah. Oh, so there's a little wobble there from Darren Crosby on the exit of turn 9. So we'll go roof cam for Chris Miller. So watch Crosby in the yellow and black machine. Checks up a little bit for McCune. And just steps the rear end out, and unfortunately, Chris Miller was right there. A pretty nice pirouette, but unfortunately, he's got no bonnet, so that will mean pretty severe motor damage to that car. So he hasn't pitted yet. He's trying to stay out on track. So we'll see how that goes as Tally gets the move done there on Greg Sharp into the P4.
Yeah, so that one as well. So got one job done. He's only got Dan Hall up front. That's the next one. Ken Ladder been thinking about trying to get down the road a little bit, try and get a gap going. So currently on lap 38, so there's still a fair way to go. So they really can't afford to use too much of those tyres for the moment. So it's going to be a bit of cat and mouse, and just who's going to be left. Dan Hall runs a little bit wide. You saw a puff of smoke from the inside. Tally's looking at the inside. Oh, a little bit of Morse code starting to happen there.
This is hurting Tally as well, Mez.
Yeah, big time. Big time this is going to be hurting him. I imagine he'll be trying to set the run up so we can get into turn 4 and get the pass done there. I mean, you see the cars that have been running longer, they're just not able to get the car off the corner. And oh, there's a big lockup as well from Ken Ladder. So both of these drivers are pushing it. Actually, oh, Tally's not able to get off the corner. Dan Hall got a really good run off that corner. You can see the gaps actually starting to open up a little bit as well. So this is not working out too well for Taliancic. You want to be trying to get this pass done as soon as possible. Might have to spend another lap behind Dan Hall.
A lot of guys struggling with lockups as Tally right on the rear bumper. I don't think you can fit a piece of paper between how close the front bumper of Tally was and the rear bumper of Dan Hall. But I've noticed, I've been following the Discord for their veterans, and a lot of guys saying with this fixed setup that is built by fellow racer that is currently P12 Jamie McKnight, a lot of guys are saying about the brakes that are a little bit different to what they would usually run in an open set series. So potentially tonight, a few guys struggling with how the brakes are working, because we've seen endless amount of lockups at turn 1, turn 2, turn 4, all through the middle section as well. So maybe a few guys, because it's even happening to Tally and Kenny as well, who are 1 and 2 effectively in this race at the moment. They're struggling with the brakes as well. So this might be a little bit out of imbalance to what they're used to, and a few mistakes are creeping in under brakes for those 2 drivers, and I'm sure pretty much a lot of the field as well.
Yeah, a bit unusual to see, especially you mentioned those two drivers, Ken and Tally, to be sort of pinching brakes as much as what they are. But a really good run off the corner for Taliancic. He's pulling the nose out now to have a bit of a look, and there he is, deep under brakes. Doesn't look like Dan Hall has the tyres left to keep fighting, so he's going to pull it. Oh no! Oh, he's going to try and fight it, but there was a little bit of contact. It looks like John Latham's going to be having a bit of a look there as well. So John Latham's managed to find his way back into this battle pack as well. And there's Darren Lobb too. So this battling is far from over. Oh, see how close they are. I'm going for another look on replay. We'll see what happened here. So the switchback is on. And oh, very close.
I think it was either netcode contact or Dan Hall just turned right a little bit and got the car a little bit upset to avoid contact with Tally. It was either one of the two, but I mean, Tally, I don't think Tally's complaining too much because he has now cleared Dan Hall, so now he can try and chase after Kenny, but trying to confirm the gap is 2.3 seconds, so it's grown out a little bit more since then. Here we go, nearly a 3 wide into turn 2. Latham will get the move done on Hall, so will Darren Lobb, and there's contact! Oh, there's contact between effective P3. Dan Hall will drive back by him. He doesn't care, he's off to the sunset. Still side by side between Latham and Darren Lobb. This is for P3. Lobb is now in front of John Latham, but he might have to redress that position. John Latham has called it in to race control, so don't be surprised to see Darren Lobb have to redress that position to John Latham in a lap or so.
Yeah, just gonna see what happens there. It was three drivers fighting over the same little bit of real estate. I think Dan was more than happy to give that one up, but yeah, John and Darren and a little bit coming together with the corner. Go back up front.
Oh, Dan Hall's off.
Oh,
Dan Hall's at the moment. All on his own by looks. I think the tyre wear is severely kicked in. It is lap 40. Yeah. Big moment for Dan Hall.
Yeah, we'll have a quick look at replay. Oh, that has let go massively off the corner. I don't think I've seen that sort of happen before. It was well off the corner and the rear just sort of said, nope, I think I've had enough.
Yeah, I think just the tyres have reached the limit of grip and yeah, very strange. I'm sure his tyre wear percentages will be very low because, yeah, very uncharacteristic for him. And weird spot to do it as well because he was straight off the corner too. So he's come straight to the pits after that. And he'll have a short run home. And this tyres battle on the screen between teammates, Knight and Kirby. This is for P8 on the road. Remember, Nishka's still got a pit as well. From the race lead. He's got 9 seconds over Kenny Latta, so might be still a top 10 run there for Nishka. Started P5, I believe, in this race, so the ultimate strategy still might pay off for a solid top 10. I believe he was around the 10th place mark before all the safety car calamity unfolded, so probably still on for a half decent result. He's still pushing on. We've got 14 laps to go. So yeah, Nishka's still out in front. Nearly 10 seconds to get it up.
Have to give just those laps on screen at the moment. That's the first lap where we've seen Ken Latta actually go a bit faster than Nitschke, but I have to give hats off to Brenton. This has actually just been a phenomenal effort. He got clean air and he's just driven away, and to pull a 9-second lead like that, granted a couple of drivers are probably looking after their tyres a little bit more, obviously because they're going to the end, but that's still that's still a decent effort to pull out a 10-second lead like that. So I think, yeah, regardless of what result Brent gets tonight, I think he deserves a little bit of a pat on the back for that one, because that's a phenomenal effort to pull that one off. So again, still a long way to go. I'm not sure how long. Can we pull up any chance? Actually, I might still have it here, actually. Pit stop times roughly for the other drive. So we're looking 38 seconds, 36 seconds. We're looking at roughly for Ken Latta and Talianchin. So if we look at the field, it's dropping him. He's still going to stay inside the top 20 roughly. If he does pit, but actually looks like he's in. Looks like he has bolted into the pit lane.
I don't think he'll have to take that much fuel, because he'll only have to take fuel for about 12 laps worth. So I don't know if his pit stop will be there. We'll have to see. It might be about 38 seconds, but I don't think it'll be a long stop. So we'll have to see whether the 066 pops out. Currently he's down to 6, about to be down to 7th. We'll see if it is 38 minutes. I'll buy you a beer. buy you a beer if it's 38. It's not. I'm good. I'm saving $5.
Oh, it's 36. I was 2 seconds off.
You're close. I'll give you credit because it was close. So he's coming out just in front of McKeon, 13th. So I'll say about the top 10. So, but he's got the freshest tyres on the field by a long way for anyone that he's racing. So,
yeah,
I think you'll be able to definitely charge him to the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't worry about that bet. I don't drink anyway, so you would have been fine regardless. So
I'm gonna buy you a juice then.
Yeah. Oh, what are the ones I used to have when I was a kid? Those little pop top thing. There's pop juice anyway. Don't want to get too nostalgic on this broadcast at the moment, but yeah, 100%. He's going to have the newest tyres out of all of them. Those cars at the moment that he's around, they're on 22 lap all tyres. You can see the difference already. He's just climbed right onto the back of them. And he's got plenty of time left in this race too. It doesn't look like he has to rush this one. He's got about 12 laps-ish to go. Oh, probably don't do that. That's probably not going to help the situation at all. But he doesn't have to rush this. He could easily drag himself back inside the top 10. So considering how the strategy played out, he was on the bit of the back foot. Still potential. Can pull out pull himself back to a very decent result.
Yeah, 100%. He's look when he pitted lap 44. Look at the guys he's racing. Pitted 22 laps earlier, so he is going to be a bullet out of the gate compared to these guys. And we just got the call in Lob in the 099 has got to redress the position with John Latham in 24. So with 12 laps to go, he's going to have to redress the position, and Lob actually pulled a bit of a gap to John Latham, apologies. So yeah, Lob's he's slowing down now. He's going to redress that. So that's probably going to take Lob out of the question for at least P2 in this race. So once he lets him go, it'll be a straight fight out between those two for third, last step of the podium. And just looking at the times between Ladder and Taliancic, they're pretty much matching each other every lap so far. Last lap, Ladder, was about 400s quicker than Mokka Taliancic on that last completed lap. They're about to cross the line again, so we'll see what the times are. It's a 22.775 for Kenny Ladder. Mokka Taliancic at 22.9, so about a tenth and a half loss there for Taliancic, getting out 3 seconds. So looks like Kenny's doing all he needs to do, maintain the gap, even building it out just a little bit. We're 11 laps to go on this race, and the 269's doing all the right things. There's a big lock up in the background for Taliancic. I think he's trying to close that margin, but he's lost another tenth and a half just in that lock-up.
Yeah, bit of time out of there. Try and get live points up now that the field's spread itself out a bit. We can see, so there's the points on screen: 1418 versus 1403. So the championship swings in Ken Ladder's favour, and both of them, they won't be dropping these points either, considering they're first and second.
Sorry, Mez, there's more contact between Latham and Darren Lobb in the exit of turn 5. They've gone, Lobb's gone in the position, but we might have to queue up a replay if we can. I'm just trying to dissect it myself now. I'd like to see a replay of it if we can. Try and dissect it if we can, Mez, because pretty awkward contact there on the exit of turn 5 between them. That's the second time they've come into wars with each other in this race, and that's really closed David Nash into this battle as well. So here's the RaceKraft replay. Darren Lobb, fair bit behind, so it looks like Latham runs a little bit wide. Oh, that's. I don't know. I might try and get a rear shot if we can, Dan. Potentially, this will do. This will be a good angle. We can see from behind.
That just looks
I think that's
clumsy.
just racing. I think that's just racing.
Yeah, I think that's just a little bit clumsy. We'll go on board with Latham if we can. Yep, we'll look at the rear wing. It just seems a little bit clumsy here. So there's a bit of a lock from John, and I don't know. That to me, there was a mistake from Latham, and then Darren has just drifted out a little bit. So it just seems a little bit clumsy from both of them at the moment. Really, that's all that sort of happened there. I would not be surprised if we do see another redress though. I think there was that little bit of tire contact, which I think exaggerated that whole incident. That's why John got quite sideways. But yeah, there has been the call to race control. I genuinely would not be surprised if we get a second call for to redress that position.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough one, Mez, on how you adjudicate that. I don't think, obviously Latham made the little mistake, but I don't think really the driver did anything wrong. I think it was just, like you said, the wheel contact just exaggerated. Latham doing that half spin. I think without that, they would have just played on and probably exited turn 5 side by side. So
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so lap 48, so we've got what 9 laps to go. So we'll have to see what RaceKraft come up with. Travis Hunt is it's gone from bad to worse. RaceKraft just coming through with it now. Another drive-through penalty for the 32. So unfortunately, probably not a good time to go to the webcam of Travis Hunt because he's probably not going to be too happy.
No, two set to go in one. Two black flags in a night. Yeah, not the best night in the office, but you sometimes that happens. Sometimes you just have those nights where it just does not seem to work out for you. But yeah, we're looking at Darren Lobb at the moment. Still about two seconds off Taliancic at the moment. We'll wait and see what will happen to that gap as well, whether or not it can close up, but we'll try to get a replay at the moment to see what this was about. Oh, it was a big lock up there. He's trying to go for a switch back. Yeah. Oh, that was yeah. So you can see he's waiting. Probably because he can't move. Oh! So that's Robbie Griffiths as well. So that's secondary incident that's happened there.
So are they looking at the Stephen Banks incident or maybe so they just called through, I think, a post-race points penalty for Stephen Banks for that unsafe re-entry. So I was just about to ask about that. So yeah, they've 2 penalties out of the 1 incident. So unlucky for those guys. And look at Michael Taliancic. Closing another 2/10 the last lap. The gap has gone from about 3.2 seconds to 2.4 seconds. It's fluctuating every few corners. So I think Tally's put the hammer down. He's got Lewis Hamilton and Bono vibes going at the moment. It's hammer time for Michael Taliancic, and he's really closing on Kenny Ladder, coming up to the start of lap 50 this time while we'll be 7 laps to go. We'll try and, that last lap was another 2/10, so 2.5 tenths. That Tally took out, and we'll see what it is this time by Kenny Ladder across the line at 22.856 and 22.70, so another 1/10.5 taken out. Michael Taliancic, gap to 2.2 seconds, 7 laps to go. This could be very interesting late in the race.
Yeah, strategy's starting to play out. The tyre life strategy is starting to play out now as well. So has Taliancic actually got more in the car than what we thought he had? Because it seems to be starting to bring it out at the moment. Car looking very straight as they come off the corner. Doing a very nice job for Taliancic there. I'm interested to see what will happen with this one. It's actually started to push the gap out against Darren Lobb as well. So yeah, I don't think the battle for second is going to be on for the moment, but the battle for the lead definitely potentially looks like something's going to happen there. So it's a few little battle packs happening in the field. Battle for 20th spot at the moment. There's a few guys involved in this one. We've got Michael Stewart involved as well. They're coming off the third 2 quarter. Damien Cross leading this pack at the moment. I'm just watching these for a little bit. Chad Lewis in this one. Rick Sipper in this one as well. So Michael Stewart poking the nose out. It's got a little bit of pace going for him at the moment. And Damien Cross seems to be a little bit of the cork in the bowl at the moment. Christian Smart right on the rear bumper for him as they head through that turn 5, turn 6 section. So, actually having a little moment there as well. And now Michael Stewart having a bit of a look. So this pack seems to, ebbing and flowing a little bit by the looks of it.
Yeah, 100%. Looks like Smarty's got a little bit of pace there on Cross. Just can't move down. And one thing I've also picked up, as Brendan Nishka, remember, pitted on lap 44. He's been racing guys with 20 lap fresher tyres. And he's really only he's made 1 pass. He's still only P13. I was thinking he's going to be easily in the top 10, maybe even up where Ignite and Kirby are battling right now. But just hasn't seemed like he's been able to get through this battle pack of cars, including Cairns, Nickel and Fewens. So a little bit surprising there. With such better tyre life, he hasn't been able to make as much ground as what I thought he would.
Yeah, it's actually a bit surprising. We sort of shot away from that one, but yeah, the fact he's still sort of sitting there in P13, yeah, I'm also shocked as well. Thought he would have skipped down the road, been able to get the job done and skip down the road a little bit, but yeah, battle's still on there. We're looking at Scott McCune, Darren Crosby at the moment. This battle's still continuing on at the moment. There's a little bit of damage on the front left of Scotty McCune's car, and he was mentioning, I believe, on comms, I did sort of pick up a little bit of traffic there. He's sort of mentioning that the car just doesn't quite have pace at the moment, so could be falling into the traps of Darren Crosby, and then there's not that far behind as well. You've got, you know, Damien Cross, that battle pack I was mentioning as well, so you know, Cross, Smart, Stewart, Lewis and Simper as well, that won't be too far behind, so yeah, interesting to see if yeah, the night seems to go not the way that Scott McCune would have planned.
No, certainly not. Some big left front damage on that machine. Certainly wouldn't be helping him down the straight whatsoever, the straight line speed. Pointing off Darren Crosby, and got shout out to Darren Crosby. Started 40th up to 17th. Fantastic drive for him. Also Bruce Tannick. He's out 42nd. I'm pretty sure it's the last car on the grid. He's up to 15th, which is very, very impressive. Some big drives throughout the field. Like you see on screen there, Tannick up 26, Crosby 23, Cross 16, Blanchard 12, and Rick Vigor 11. We were trying to watch Rick Vigor. He was the first of those cars that pitted out of that safety car. I think he did have a potential drive-through earlier on, or mistake before. So he's probably... Oh, Damien Cairns off the road there, out of P12. Trying to pick up what happened there, if he was on his own. No, it was not on his own. There was contact with Brendan Nishka into turn 4, so we'll try and queue up a replay if we can of that contact in a moment. Please, Dan, RaceKraft replay, and looks like Cairns still trying to battle there with Greg Sharp. And this is the RaceKraft replay on cue. Nishka, big bomb down the inside from a long way back. Does struggle to get pulled up into the door of Cairns. I think that's going to be a penalty incoming for Brendan Nishka, I believe.
Yeah, he's done a really good job. He has got the car alongside, so he's done a fair bit of the job. But yeah, as you said, I think yeah, just didn't quite. Oh, Brenton's gone off as well. Well, it looks like on screen. He's going to lose a couple of spots out of that one as well. So Brenton, the Knight, just he's doing a fantastic job, but this last bit of the race is just not going to plan at all.
And David Nash as well. Yeah, it is David Nash, right on the back of John Latham. This is for P4 on the road. So after that earlier contact, the second time between John Latham and Darren Bob, will be able to skip away. And David Nash is really caught on in the back of John Latham. Maybe Latham a little bit of damage on that car, might be struggling just a little bit. David Nash kept his nose clean all race long, started 8th up to 5th, and he's right on the rear bumper of Latham with 3 laps to go. Back to the front, Kenny Ladder has a 2.6 second lead over Tully, so he's looking pretty safe at the moment, but the battle on the screen is one to watch out for P4 on the road between Johnny Latham and David Nash.
Yeah. It's very, very close there. David Nash just sort of was chipping away there. We've seen David Nash obviously hanging around, but definitely has really picked the pace up in the last bit of this race. You can see that last lap improvement as well. So 24 dead versus a 23.7, so plenty of pace in that car. And this little battle pack as well, Jam McKnight and David Kirby, these two have actually been battling for quite a few laps now. David Kirby has not able to sort of get the pass up, but there has definitely been a bit of sparring between these two drivers. They are teammates, and we know for a fact that both of these drivers do love a good scrap on track as well. So I would imagine that they'd want to keep the result. They're P7, P8, but definitely would not be too shy to rub a little bit of panels as well.
Yeah, if there's no paint exchange in a V8 supercar race, I think you're doing it wrong, in my opinion. So, yeah, fantastic battling. Even between the two teammates here, McKnight and Kirby going at it all race. 2 laps to go this time by, and Brendan Nishka has received a drive-through penalty late in the piece for that contact with Damien Ginn. So, unfortunately from him, P13, he's going to be dropping right down the order late in this one, and Ladder has extended that gap once again nearly out to 3 seconds. So, doing all the right things. Kenny Ladder, 2 laps to go. He's in the box seat for a win. Kirby, he's going to try around the outside of Ignite, very bold for David Kirby. He's going to remove Craig Friend right there as well, so he doesn't want to lose too much time. Ignite goes straight defensive down the inside, so 2 fishy cars. I don't think they'll do anything too silly, but I've raced these guys enough. They both race hard no matter what. Kirby's going to go around the outside once again, try and hold the inside for 5, and fantastic drive from Ignite to block it off on the inside there. Very smart. He's been around a long time, Jamie, so fantastic drive in between all 3 of these guys. Let's battle for P7 on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I mentioned also previously on the podcast that Jeremy Knights is probably one of the most difficult drivers I've found to pass. He just puts that car in a position that just, you know, it's not blocking, but it just puts that car in a position that just makes that a little bit harder for you to pass. So yeah, Kirby's going to have his work cut out to get that one, and which may also screen on as well. Brenton Nitschke actually picking up a drive-through penalty for that contact, which is very unfortunate. He did a fantastic job tonight, and yeah, unfortunately that little bit of contact put pay to that one. So we cross the line. This is the final lap at the moment. Ken Ladder still has the lead, 2.8 seconds. Darren Lobb comfortably in second at the moment, and John Latham in a little bit of a battle pack with David Nash as well. So that position is still yet to sort itself out as well. Chad Lewis, Michael Stewart on screen at the moment, battling out for those minor spots. And actually, no, this has changed big time. The gap was quite big, but no, John Latham has all of a sudden found himself right on the rear bumper. So this is the battle for P3. David Nash just in the background too.
I reckon Lobb's going to tight on field. Sorry to cut you off, Matt. I think Lobb's tight on field. His lap times have dropped off significantly compared to John Latham in the last few laps. But I think he's going to be safe. And we know who is safe is Kenny Ladder. The Fishing Motorsports 2-6 will cross the line. A clean sweep pole position. And race winner here at Mid-Ohio, and most crucially will take the championship lead going into the final round next week. Michael Salianchich in second, Darren Lobb just hangs on for third, John Latham fourth, and David Nash, a fantastic drive for fifth. Still going on in the background, Troy Stone Street will finish sixth. Knight will hang on for seventh in front of Kirby and Craig Friend, and SimSpeed's own Jason Fewens will nab a top 10 result. So fantastic drive for Fewens there. Another fantastic race in V8 Vets. Mezin never disappoints, even if when I come in for a odd cameo here and there, it always turns it on.
Yeah, as soon as I come across the line. Bruce Tannock up 28 spots. Darren Crosby up 25. So big movers through the field there. That is a phenomenal effort. And yeah, you can see coming out of the pits, coming out of the final corner, everyone's starting to come around to the checkered flag. A few more drivers to come across the line. Grab you those results when they do. That's everyone just taking their time getting through. That has been a fairly decent race. Although you get plenty of time to brake on those 2 big straights, the last half of the track, there's a fair bit of work you have to do as well. So definitely can't underestimate, even though it doesn't look like a hard-working track, they've definitely had to work a little bit tonight.
Yeah, certainly. It's not one of the easiest tracks to get around. You always up on the wheel, you get that little break down the back straight, but you're still turning for most of the back straight, so you don't get too much of a break around the circuit, and especially a 56-lap race, it can take a toll on you, but it didn't seem to take too much of a toll on Kenny Ladder, who takes victory by 3.1 seconds, extended out right at the end there to take victory here tonight. Talianchich in the 21 in position number 2. Darren Lobb right out the podium, just holding on to John Latham. Those 2 guys were going at it all night long, a few exchanges between them. David Nash ran out the top 5, then back to Stone Street in P6, 8 seconds down the road. McKnight and Kirby, the 2 fishy cars, 7th and 8th. Craig Friend in 9th, and Jason Fewens rounding out the top 10. Just behind him was also Tim Nicol in the 23, a nice drive for him. Jeff Thomas finishing 12th. Bruce Tannick 43rd to 13th, a fantastic drive for the 1-2-3 of Bruce Tannick. Scotty McCune finishing 14th. Darren Crosby plus 25 into 15th. Christian Smart in 16th, and the top 20 is rated out by Chad Lewis, Michael Stewart, Rick Sibra, and Brendan Niska. So a pair of Frog Leap cars rating out the top 20. Unfortunately, Niska did have that late drive-through penalty.
Yep, and we'll roll over to P21. Damien Cross home with Chris Blanchard in second and 22nd. The battle for the bubble, this little group as well. So definitely something to play for there. Greg Sharp in 23rd spot. Damien Cross in P24. Ricky Hyde coming home in P25. Dan Hall coming home in P26. Damien Fisher will be home in P27. Rick Vigor will be home in 28th. Mario Reale home in P29. Robbie Griffiths coming home in P30. We'll flick over P31. No, I'm right. The graphics are out a little bit. Paul Burns. We'll try this again. Okay, let's flick over. Go to P20, P30. Robbie Griffiths. There we are, and we'll flick over. And guess what? We'll see Paul Burns in P31, and Michael Quain in P32. Brenton O'Brien comes home in P33. Travis Hunt home in P34. Robert Crisdale comes home P35. Paul Warwick P36. Stephen Banks home P37. And this is actually getting into our DNFers. Chris Miller 38th. Scotty Van Loon. Scott Gamble out early with that engine failure as well. Stewie Hall was a last retirement as well with that lap 1 incident. So we'll have a quick flick through, and we'll see who have we got for our first interviews.
Looks like we got Kenny and Tally in waiting for us. Probably still waiting on Darren Lobb, but we can have a chat to our race winner, Kenny Ladder, and then we'll jump into Tally, who's already there, and hopefully Darren jumps in at a later point. So when we can, we'll chat to our race winner, the 269 Fishy Motorsports Ford Mustang of Kenny Ladder, qualified pole position, and took our race victory, and in the end pretty comfortably as well. Kenny, congratulations. It's been a while since I've chatted to you. Fantastic drive for you tonight. Extend that gap right at the end after Tally pulled you in a little bit. So how did that race play out for you? Obviously pretty hectic after that second safety car, being amongst a lot of cars off strategy.
Certainly was. I mean, they're on a lot of fuel, heavier fuel, but pressure tyres, but just very difficult to sort of really put yourself in a good position to make a pass when it's like that. But just try to be patient and not cause any unnecessary spins or get myself into trouble myself. I knew Mike would be in the same boat as me.
Yeah, well, we'll keep an eye on it all race. You both had that trouble trying to get through the pack, and fortunately enough for you, you got it through just a little bit better. Was able to extend a little bit of a gap there later in that race. Meadow High, one of the older tracks on the iRacing sim. Fantastic track, in my opinion, for supercar racing. What was the biggest difficulty throughout the race for you around this track at a 56-lap affair?
Well, you don't get a lot of rest. I mean, there's I know there's two sort of straights there, but when you're coming off those straights, they're straight into difficult corners where it's difficult to brake, and you got to get the balance of the car right. And if you overshoot it just that little bit, you could end up in the grass. So I think it was just trying to manage the car, not overdrive it. That was probably the main thing. It was fairly difficult, like this sort of track, because it does make you work all the time and get you quite hot and sweaty when you're doing it. So, yeah.
We were talking throughout the broadcast tonight and pre-race as well that the importance of winning this championship, obviously get to win a V8 Veterans Championship, but also a golden ticket in the Logitech Pro Invitational Series. Unfortunately, you had a few hiccups in the first 2 rounds of the qualifying series, and notice that you didn't race last night, so putting all your focus into the V8 Veterans last 2 rounds, and obviously it paid off tonight. So one round to go, coming into Mugello for the finale, a brand new track. You now have the points lead. So what is your strategy going to be for the next week to prepare for the final round, knowing now it's pretty much down to you and Tally? Whoever pretty much finishes in front takes the championship and also that golden ticket to the Pro Series.
Well, because I'm obviously not going to make it the Pro Series on the other side of things, I'm just going to have to put everything I can in and just make sure I'm at home with the track and I feel comfortable. If I feel comfortable, then I know I can race hard, and I think that's the key, definitely.
Have you, quickly before we get to the sponsorship, have you done any laps at Mugello yet? And if you have, what do you think the hardest part is going to be about that track? Because it only just came out very recently and I haven't seen any races in a V8 there yet. So it'll be a new experience, I think, for a lot of people.
I haven't, I'd say I'll probably have to download it. Last week, last week I said I couldn't picture this track, and the moment I spin up, I'm like going, oh yeah, of course. But obviously that one being a new one, yes, I haven't been there. I have to download it, and a lot of people is in the same boat with that one. So, and it's always interesting when it's a new track because there's no one's got that knowledge and experience of how to drive the track, you know. So
yeah, it's certainly going to make it for a very interesting finale between you and Tally. Before we let you go, once again, congratulations on your race win tonight. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to, and anyone else you want to thank?
Just want to thank all the guys behind the scenes that put Vets on. It's definitely a great series. Race Control, you guys, and Fishy, and all our sponsors, West End Motor Group, Infinity Design, DC Shades, Battery Warehouse, Early Beach, and Systems Sim Training. Thank you.
Congratulations once again, Kenny, and I won't be around next week, but good luck next week, and hope it plays out for you, and may the best man win.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
There's Kenny Latta, race winner here tonight at Mid-Ohio, and I believe Mez has walked down the pit lane not too far to the Ultra Australia 21 camp of Michael Talienchich, and I think he's going to catch up with him for a chat.
Yeah, we'll just get Michael up here in a second so you can go up, and yeah, congrats Michael. It's P2 tonight, obviously big championship implications at play, obviously something we've been talking about for a bit, but nonetheless still results on the board. You'll go down to the final round, but yeah, how do you feel coming out of tonight's race?
Yeah, I think I was reasonably fast tonight. I wasn't very consistent. Didn't do any laps in traffic or looking at anyone at all until the warm-up before the race. And I sort of showed in the race I was a bit distracted, but yeah, I think I did pretty well. With Logitech last night, it's always hard. I'm pretty glad that we're skipping a week in Logitech, so the final round I can just focus on Vets rather than focusing on two different series.
Yeah. So yeah, that was going to be sort of the next question. So you're doing quite well in Pro Series at the moment. It looks like you, with one round to go, and another solid result will get you in. But obviously, the battle for Ken is that this is his shot to get into Pro Series to try and wrap this championship. So going into the final round, both of you have a fair bit to play for. So how is that running through your mind at the moment?
I'm not doing as good in the Pro Series as I would have liked to have been, but hopefully I'll make it in through the qualifying series. And regardless, as far as I understand, if I qualify through the Pro Series, Ken will get in whether he's first or second. I could be wrong about that, but I'm going for gold. I'm here to win, not to come second, but yeah, just want to go out there and do my best. Ken's been a really good competitor to race against. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. Unfortunately, at the final round, I can't think what the track's called. We raced here at Logitech, and me and King came together, and I got a penalty for it, and I spun him out. So hopefully we got all that out there and could have a good clean race for the final round.
Yeah. Final round is at Mugello, which I don't believe we've seen much supercar racing there at the moment, but have you had a chance to look at the track or got any impressions early on?
that was at Logitech, the qualifiers, wasn't it? Or
That
am
was
I
mainly
going
core,
crazy?
I believe.
Yeah, menu core. Yeah, that was
Oh
one
man,
of
I'm going crazy. Ignore me.
them. Yeah, you have been pushing it quite hard for the past 3 weeks, so I think you're forgiven if you're mixing tracks up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just the names or something. I literally thought I'd been to the track we're going to next week. Yeah, I guess not. But yeah, I have been pretty tired, and I've been struggling swapping between my sets and the fixed sets. Like from my set last night to the set tonight, they're so different to drive. I was running like 49% brake bias, which I basically never do, just to try and make the set turn tonight. And yeah, I think it's going to be very nice going into the final round for both, where I can just spend the whole week just focused on one, not both.
Being out of curiosity, being one of those drivers, obviously there's a few of them that are trying to back these things as well, but could there be any changes perhaps in future? Obviously it'd be next year when this rolls around again, but there is the general sort of consensus is that it's quite difficult to try and run these things back to back. Would you like to see some changes come next year if we do end up in a situation where we are having these series obviously overlapping at the same time?
This is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, and I don't think anything should be done to suit me. But personally, I think we're the running in the top split in the vets, and I think it's detrimental to a lot of the drivers that we run fixed setups. It sort of holds people back from learning how to set up the car, learning how to have the car suit themselves. And when it comes to going from racing these fixed sets to where you need to get everything out of the car in a series like Logitech, you need to be able to get everything you can, not just drive the car to its best. And yeah, I don't know, maybe not even having open sets, but I could see an argument for having one setup for the whole season, just having a balanced setup, so we're not coming into the vets with really different setups from week to week. Because like for me, coming in tonight, the setup felt really, really different to like last week's vet set, and it's sort of like real short notice trying to change. I spent more time trying to learn and understand the setup than I did the track, but that's just my opinion.
So it's more the setups that's that you're having to learn. So even though they're on different tracks, if it was open setup, you probably feel that the change just isn't that massive. You can adjust because you can have a setup that you like, so to speak.
Yeah, if there was one setup for the whole season, we would learn how that drives over the whole season. We would be able to practice early. There would be no pressure on anyone to set up for each individual track, so everyone could go out there, practice early, and knowing what they're going to have, maybe just changing the gear ratio from track to track. I think it would just be a lot easier that way, and it'd be a bit more predictable, because I think some of the roll center changes and things like that make very, very big differences to the car, and I personally don't make changes like that even to my own setups. And I push really hard to get everything I can out of the setup, but I just don't think that sort of change is needed.
Thank you. Good opinion. It's something we have sort of thought about, because obviously a few drivers have mentioned that it's a bit of a struggle. But no, thanks for that. And obviously look forward to the next round. And before we let you go, who would you like to thank for getting it done?
I'd just like to thank Altus Engineering, RaceTech New Zealand, VRS, and Logitech. Big shout out to everyone, and I'd like to just say a bit of a shout out to Jamie McKnight. He puts a lot of effort into these setups. I have nothing against him or anything like that. I'm not saying he makes bad setups. I just have just a bit of a difference of opinion on how that affects our driving outside of the series.
All good. Thanks again, and congratulations, and get some rest and get ready for the final round.
Thanks, guys.
Nice. And looks like we've been waiting, and don't seem that Darren's made his way to the paddock yet. So
Might
yeah,
have gone
I
to
think,
bed.
yeah, it might be the smart option. Maybe I need to go to bed too, actually, because it's quite late here as well. But yeah, another fantastic round in the books, and yeah, plenty to talk about coming out of it. And yeah, we have a big championship battle coming in, and he read my mind. You can see on screen now Ken Latta leading the championship, Michael Taliancic in second. Matt Vanderkrant, even though was not here tonight, will still hold on to P3. But look at that. Stone Street, McKnight, and Darren Lobb, they are all within striking distance as well. So that's a fantastic job from James McKnight, popping up into P5 as well. Darren Lobb coming up through there. Unfortunately, the DNF tonight from Scott Gamble has dropped him right outside the top 10, but yeah, there's plenty of drivers to play for. We'll have a quick look through at the bubble as well. Chris Blanchard's actually managed to pop himself up into P18. Brenton O'Brien's come up another spot. Damien Cross is on the bubble for the moment, and then we flick over and we've got Rick Vigor, Dean Favell coming up as well. So the bubble is pulled a fume of, and Damien Nash down. Apologies. Been told he went down a few spots and has fallen out of it. David Nash coming up a few spots as well. Robbie Griffiths there still in a battle as well. So there's second season, and it seems as though we've got once again the final round is going to be the one to watch once again.
Yeah, obviously a lot to play out for. Obviously, not much between the top two in the championship, and then obviously not much for the 20th position. And we go to a brand new track next Thursday night, February 22. I assume that Scott's going to be back, so probably nothing will go wrong, because everything goes wrong when he's not here and we can blame him. So that's all good. If something goes wrong next week, I'm sure I'll just get blamed back. So that's okay. The RaceKraft V8 Vets Championship finale at the new Mugello circuit came out last build. I've done a couple laps around there in a V8. Going to be interesting. Very tight and technical last sector. Fairly free-flowing first two sectors, so I think it might be a bit difficult to pass, is my thing. Maybe at turn one, big opportunity, but I think that might be a bit difficult to pass. So I think qualifying again will be very important next week, Mez, but I'm sure I'll be tuned in either way to see what happens in the finale, because whatever happens next week could play a big part, obviously in the Logitech series as well, and determine who gets in and who gets out, considering I'm on the bubble at the moment for the Logitech series. So whatever happens next week could affect my run in that as well, but that's next week's problem.
Yeah. You have to get your head down and do some practicing as well. But I've also actually done some lap at Mugello as well, and I actually we spoke a fair bit about the last bit of the track here at Mid Ohio. Now that I sort of think about it, it feels like just a bigger version of what we raced on tonight with a bigger front straight. So yeah, I think we're going to see a very, very similar sort of race as what we saw tonight there as well. So, but once again, thanks for everyone for tuning in. Thank you for stepping in. You're more than welcome back, because at least you don't throw me under the bus. And once again, a big, big thank you for Dan Yeaman for putting up with me and producing another broadcast. Big thanks to our sponsors, RaceKraft Solutions, Play One Sim Gear, Nova Sim Sports, Logitech G, Parramatta, Isuzu Ute. This has been the V8 Vets Round 9 from Mid Ohio. We'll see you next week at Mugello.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.